Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Good morning. Good morning, Cavs fans. Welcome to another installment of the Block the Shot to Stop, a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast brought to you by the wonderful people over at Blue Wire. Tim Daniel here with Skylar Webker, and we are, of course, now the Cavs are on their West Coast road trip, and we are dads talking Cavs. Staying up all night to do these shows is not very easy, so today we're calling it Coffee and Cavs Chats.
Oof, I need to get some coffee. I'm just sucking down some water.
Yeah, well, you're smarter than me, so... also want to make sure we mention, as we know, that tomorrow is the last day you can enter, being Thursday. The bracket challenge on CBS Sports with us, where you have a chance to win some excellent prizes. Very simple to get to, very easy. You just go to your brackets, you search for BSF's Cast Fans Only Podcast, and the password is sub on YouTube. So please subscribe on YouTube before you join, and that gives you an opportunity to win some prizes. So Kevin, I know, is working really hard on that, and I know it's been really exciting. So Skylar, I did brackets. I auto drafted them because this is the first year in my life, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea about anything in NCAA basketball. So I know Xavier made it, and they play tonight while the Cavs play. So I might double TV it tonight. That's all I know.
Oof. My alma mater made it, University of Akron, which feels weird to say. Like, Akron's not a school where it was like, oh, we're just known for sports. You got to be a hardcore sports fan, like, OSU or Kentucky or anything like that. So whenever they do well at anything, you're like, oh yeah, they have a sports program.
Yeah, I actually really like John Groce a lot. I of course wanted Miami to win the MAC because Travis Steele's my friend. But that's okay. I thought that was a great game. That was a really awesome game that they won. So a lot of fun to watch. All right, man. So last night, Cleveland goes to the Intuit Dome for the first time. They lose 132-119, and it was a very frustrating game to watch as a Cavs fan. I thought offensively, mostly they looked pretty good. Especially, they come out guns blazing. They start with a 12-point lead. It looks like it's going to be one of those nights where they bounce back really rough from the Orlando loss, and then they kind of let the Clippers crawl back into it. I mean, they have a 45-point first quarter, and then the highest they scored in a quarter from there was 29, and they gave up. They had been outscored by 9 points in the second half each quarter, so they really kind of weren't. It seems like they weren't tapped in. If you kind of watch the highlights, if you didn't get a chance to watch the whole game, first off, give credit to Kawhi and Zubac and how well they played, but they fell for a lot of the James Harden baiting of forcing contact and just really annoying. I'm not anti-forcing contact 'cause I think Mitchell does it too, but the way that Harden does it, where it's just so.
It's his entire game.
Yeah, right, for sure, especially now. So that's really irritating. And then there was all isolation defense the second half. I feel like if you go back and you watch the 12-minute condensed game on YouTube or the NBA app, there's not a single time you see a Cavs player roll over and then help defense, it looked like. And that's really irritating because, look, when they have these losses, we're only talking about 12 losses on the year, right? We're 68 games in. We have 12 losses. This is a really, really good basketball team, as we know. This loss to the Clippers does not ruin how I feel about the season by any means. But just flat out looked like they weren't tapped in defensively, looked like they weren't talking. The communication wasn't what we normally see it was. And it looks like they just got trapped a ton in isolation defense and unfavorable matchups, and Kawhi and crew took full advantage.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with, they didn't seem tapped in and not communicating. And it feels like there's some sort of frustration building between last game and this game. I mean, Kenny has 2 technical fouls in 2 games.
Yeah.
Which
I love, by the way.
I do too. But it just should. There's some sort of frustration building, and I'm not quite sure what it is. And Kevin and I talked about this last night in our NBA Weekly, like once we get into the playoffs, like the foul baiting is going to really get real. Because if you look at the teams that we're in the bubble with, like Boston, the refs are going to give Boston everything, deservedly so, because of the defending champions. They've been to the top of the mountain. The refs are going to give Boston everything.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, OKC can bait fouls with the best of them, especially Shea. He can bait fouls with the best of them. So really test your depth and really test your patience and really test your communication and defense. And I think this is probably a good test run of that.
I agree. I thought that they just kind of last night, it seemed like it was a lot of just kind of staying in isolation. They did switch into their zone a couple times, but it was still kind of like very little help defense. I mean, if you look at like Zubac in the paint, you can always count on Mobley and Allen defensively to kind of just take care of business there, even if they're not having a great offensive game. And that really wasn't there last night. And then I think we all love Darius Garland, and I'm not here to ever say a bad thing about him, but his size is going to put him at disadvantages against tall guards and tall players, as we've seen in the past. And he was getting hunted. And normally they're really good at making an adjustment to that. Like they normally get like with this, because I'm not saying Garland's a bad defensive player. I really think his defensive effort this year has been excellent. But this was kind of a situation where it's like, okay, like, did you guys just throw this game in because it's the first game of the West Coast trip and you'll tap back in against Sacramento tomorrow or what? But I don't know. I just thought that last night was a really disappointing effort. And we'll talk about, the offensive side here in a second, but when the Cavs have these very few times they lose games, I never feel like it's the offense. It's never like they weren't hitting shots. Yeah, Mitchell struggled last night offensively, but I think the rest of the team played pretty okay offensively. But it's their defensive effort that really helps them win a lot of games, and it's one of the biggest reasons they are where they're at.
Yeah, the defense, it just couldn't stand up to what Zubac and Kawhi were doing. I mean, Kawhi's got 4 steals on the night, 33 points, 7 rebounds, and Zubac almost had a 30-point night and 20 rebound. I mean, that's a crazy stat line to look at, to be honest.
And then my arch enemy, Bogdanovic, has a perfect shooting night. 20 points, 7 assists, 8 of 8 from the floor, and 4 of 4 from 3. Those who know that as someone as me who absolutely the only team probably roots for harder than the Cavs is Team USA basketball. Beating Bogdanovic is something I really look forward to doing every chance that my team plays them, and that did not happen last night. So, nor is 2 games with the Hawks when they played the Cavs this year. So before the trade. So
yeah.
So it's been a bad Cavs versus Bogdanovic year, and I don't like it.
It was a frustrating game to watch. I mean, Allen tried to hold his own, but I mean, wasn't really able to battle. I mean, 8 points, 8 rebounds, and then Evan Mobley, only gets 3 rebounds, 27 or 17 points,
4 fouls.
So the scoring, but I think the other bugaboo that we've seen throughout the year is being at the free throw line. 65% at the free throw line. This is kind of 2 games now where the free throw percentages weren't great, and maybe not in this game. Obviously the free throws don't make up the difference in this game, but definitely in the game with Orlando, the free throws would have definitely put the Cavs over the edge to win it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to Donovan Mitchell real quick. So, second game in a row, he wasn't Donovan Mitchell. I mean, the first quarter, he had that, I was just talking about like finding contact to a better situation. He had that great foul he drew to hit those 3 free throws in the first quarter. I thought that towards the end, I thought that was great. I thought he passed the ball really well. I mean, he found Mobley a lot for easy buckets, whether it's in the dunker spot or he's passing around the big in the lineup at the time, but just wasn't the Donovan Mitchell we know shooting wise. And this is another game where he's had that. And look, when you're someone like Mitchell, you're going to have those games. It just happens. doesn't make me think less of him, doesn't make me worried. I think that he's just primed for tonight in Sacramento against a team that's not very good defensively to go take care of business if he does play. I don't think they're going to sit anybody tonight because they have lost 2 straight. They're going to try to get some of that momentum back towards clinching the 1 seed in the East. But we can't do a show talking about this team and not hold him accountable for some of the offensive struggles last night. Some of them, I should say.
The offensive struggles are, I don't want to say concerning, something to watch, especially because, taking that time off with the groin and then coming back and kind of not looking like yourself. You wonder, is he rushing coming back? Is he nursing something? You hope that's not the case. So, that's the only thing that I would keep an eye on. Like I said, I don't want to say it's concerning, but definitely look, it's definitely something that's now going to be talked about because of the poor play.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm not worried about it. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll bounce back. It's he has these stinkers from time to time, and sometimes he has 2 of them in a row. I mean, those Atlanta games early in the year, he was rough in both those games and ended up coming back big. And we all know what he did in February. He was incredible. So I'm not worried, man. I think he's going to be okay. Let's get to. We've done a lot of negative. We don't like to be super negative here. Let's get to some goods from this before we preview the Kings game. And I want to start with DeAndre Hunter. Another awesome game for him. I know he missed his last 3 shots. He was 1 for his last 4, but I think he started 6 of 6. 17 points last night. Andre came back to play, as I like to call him now. I'm sure I'm not the original person who thought of that nickname, but I like it. I do like it. It's good. Yeah. I thought he was great, and really was kind of one of the biggest reasons they had a lead in that stretch of the game. I don't know how many more ways we could find to say that he just fits in like a glove with this team. But yeah, I thought he was awesome last night off the bench.
Yeah, I think there were some concerns when you send out Niang, you send out Levert to go get this guy. The questions of, how productive is he actually going to be? How available is he going to be? He's put all those to bed. I mean, he's been available for every game but 1 because of illness. And then he has been as advertised of what we needed from him. Somebody, a true 3-and-D guy. And he's hitting the 3 at a career high clip, which you love that. And then you love that he's, on this team for 2 more years after this.
Absolutely. I thought he was great and didn't play his best defensive game, but no one did. I thought offensively he was just terrific and really kind of helped them a lot in that situation. And then, story of the game last night for the Cavs on offense is Max Strus. 24 points, 5 of 8 from 3. Had one of those Max Strus games. And if we're going to talk about highlighting a good thing moving forward for the year, that's where we got to start, because this is where Cleveland really needs him to step up, especially, Kevin and I have talked about this a lot. He's not going to be able to play a lot of minutes in the playoffs against like the Bostons and teams like that. But he's going to have games like this where he's going to make it really difficult for you to take him out of the lineup. So he was 24, led the team in scoring, and was like really, really active defensively. I wouldn't say he was great by any means, but it was a good performance for him.
Yeah, this is the Max Strus that we've needed I don't want to say all year, because he has been doing this for a pretty decent clip. But when he was injured through the first part of the year, you're hoping, okay, he comes back and is this version of Max Strus, this version of the shooter. And took a little bit to get his legs under him when he did come back. But now that he's back, like he's been playing like this, and it's great to see. It's great to see somebody, at that higher caliber that can hit the 3-point shot, that can, and not even just that, he cuts really well, he drives really well, he, his defensive effort, just like everybody on the team, has elevated this year. Like I said, he's not an all defensive NBA player, but we don't need that. We just need a competent defensive player.
Right. Yeah, I thought he was really solid last night, and then I thought Ty Jerome was good. I wouldn't say this was his best game by any means. With 10 and 4, didn't shoot the ball awfully well, but and then I thought Sam Merrill played pretty decent defensively. Didn't shoot the ball well at all, and then the bench otherwise. Dean Wade had one really cool play where he got a fast break dunk, and I think that's really all you can say about it. So I think we can close the book. I know this is shorter than normal on last night's game and just move forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's hope that, and like you said, like you alluded to, let's hope that it's just like, hey, the first game of getting out here on the West Coast. You know, I've had to make that West Coast flight before, and your whole sense of time and everything is just completely thrown off that first day or so. So hopefully that's all it is, and they can kind of take care of business tonight in Sacramento.
Yeah, so let's get to that real quick. So for those nerds out there who don't know, obviously we do because of where we're from. This is a renewal of a classic Battle of Ohio NBA rival. I'm just kidding. As we know, the Sacramento Kings at one time were the Cincinnati Royals. But this is a new look Kings team. They're playing decent right now. They are number 9 in the West, so they are battling for a play-in spot. They do go get Zach LaVine, and I think Zach LaVine honestly has played really well for them. So in 18 games since they got LaVine, he's shooting 53% from the field, 44% from 3, and just under 90% from the free throw line, averaging 23 points a game. Feels like he really found a nice niche in Sacramento. So I'm really happy for him. But it's a team that has had a really wonky year. Obviously with firing Mike Brown, trading De'Aaron Fox, bringing in Zach LaVine. They've had to go through a lot. But Doug Christie, since he's taken over, they're 21 and 15. They score a lot. They score a lot, and they play middle of the pack in the league. So they're 17th in pace, 8th in the league in scoring. Defense, not very good, which is to be expected with a LaVine Tarosen team. And Fox now being gone, and wow, yeah, defensively they stink. That's why they went and got Markelle Fultz, who also has not been good for them. Not been very good. But they didn't bring him in there to score. So it's a team that's playing better. They're 5 of the last 10. They're ninth in the West. And like I said, since they got LaVine, their offense has really stepped up a lot. But it's a game that, and I don't want to say this just because we're coming off 2 losses. It is hard, especially a second game of back-to-back, like you said, on the West Coast, where you haven't been yet this year since December, when you had the Lakers-Warriors series of games. But I fully suspect that Sacramento's defense is not – they're going to be able to score with Cleveland, for sure. But I don't think they're going to be able to get the needed stops to stop Cleveland from scoring in this game. So I think the Cavs will bounce back. I haven't seen what the spread is, but I really think that this is a game that Cleveland comes out and takes care of business.
The spread is currently 4.5 for Cleveland.
Okay.
So pretty decent. I kind of actually think that might be a little tight. They might be just kind of seeing the recency and the recency bias going into the spread there. But I agree. I think Sacramento has a weird year. They're also kind of like, I would say, a team built of the island of misfit toys. Mm-hmm. It's kind of guys that were pushed out or kind of, fallen out of graces of whatever their original team is. You take Sabonis, you take LaVine, you take you said DeMar? Yeah, DeMar. Like I said, it's just kind of Markelle Fultz. I mean, it's an island of misfit toys of a roster. So
I do like Keon Ellis. He's good.
They're piecing together a decent year out of all of that. And then on top of having those playoff aspirations because of how good they were last year. Just a weird year. Definitely a weird year for them. I do think the Cavs take care of business. You hope, Kenny Atkinson puts these guys in the gym and says, nobody leaves until we make 100 free throws. You say, hopefully Donovan Mitchell is the scoring Donovan Mitchell that we kind of need. And like you said, I don't think they have an answer for Mobley or Allen. So hopefully those guys are able to kind of get the Zubat taste out of their mouth and and produce at a high level for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to figure out. I guess they've had a couple days off too, so that probably makes things a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I think it's going to be a nice bounce back game for the Cavs, and I look forward to a victory. So
ESPN has the matchup 75% Cavs, 25% Kings. So
yeah, so we will be back tomorrow to recap that game as well. And this morning was we're going through this West Coast swing, and then we will have a bet up later today. So if you're checking out, so don't forget to miss that as well. Don't miss that as well. I think we're gonna be okay, guys. It's just 2 games. I think they bounce back tonight, and I think tomorrow we're having a happy coffee and Cavs combo. So
absolutely. Before we get out of here, one more time, just want to highlight our March Madness bracket. Open to everybody. The one thing that we ask is that you subscribe in our YouTube channel. That helps. We're trying to grow this, and we have great prizes. Kevin said it last night that the top winner will get 2 Cavs tickets for their game against the Bulls, which is the 8th, April 8th. So right after the tournament. So please, subscribe, like us on all the socials. Listen to us on your podcast app of choice, and please leave a like and review. That really helps us, and we just love what we're doing, and we love communicating with Cavs fans. So come on, reach out, win some stuff, follow us along. Hell yeah.
That's right. All right, so we're going to close out. On behalf of Skylar Webber, on behalf of Kevin Lynch, I am Tim Daniel, and we will see you tomorrow.
Go Cavs.